yatayami. Sangye churang tsoki chognam la. Jangju bardu dakni kyapsu chi. Dakni chunyen gipe sunam ki. Drola pinche sangye drupar sho. Sangye churang tsoki chognam la. Jiangsu bardu dagni kyapsu chi. Daki chunyen gipe sunam ki. Drola pinche sangye drupar sho. Sangye churang tsoki chognam la. Jiangsu bardu dagni kyapsu chi. Daki chunyen gipe sunam ki. Drola pinche sangye drupar sho.
Yay, Adam. I love your screen. Oh my God. You look like Barbarella, okay? I know you don't know what Barbarella is, but I don't care. Okay. I got a treat for you guys.
Movie time.
It's a video. If I can find it, let's see.
You just emailed it to me.
I know,
you
but
can click that link and show it.
I'm working on it. Let's see here. Yeah. This is hard for Grandpa.
Oh.
Agong.
I don't agong me. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now I can do this. I can do this. Did it work?
It's starting to.
Yep. Oh, it's.
Can you see?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm going to play you guys a video, Adam. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here it goes. Tell me if you can hear it or not. I hope you can hear it. I don't know. Probably you can hear it. I'll turn up my sound. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! Okay, hi. This is a little video about how to do some automated formatting of a text that you just got from our input centers. Okay, so there's some work you can do automated before you start to work on a text, which will save you time, a lot of time later on. For example, we're going to start with, you see these blank lines between that looks like paragraphs. These are artificial blank lines. They make the data more usable because if you just give somebody a page of letters with no space, no white space, it's overwhelming. And also it retains the original line numbers of the original carving. So sometimes that's important to know what line number you have to look for when you have a question in the text. But now for our purposes, when we start translating a text, we'd like to remove these blank spaces and start to try to put the book into paragraphs. And there are some automated ways to do that, okay? So we're gonna start by replacing all these blank lines. And the way you replace blank lines is that you have to search for them and replace them. The way you search for a blank line in Word, in the Microsoft Word program, you hit Command F for search, and you see a search box has come up in my upper right-hand corner. And then there are special codes that are used in Word for looking for commands, for searching for commands, and to search for the return, to search for a return in a document, you type caret, which is the symbol over this number 6. And then you type a small p, not capital. Don't type capital P, it will freak out. The program will freak out, okay? So now these white spaces that you see in our text are actually double returns, okay? So I'm gonna search for double returns, which is caret P. And then I would like to replace it with a single space to close up all these blank spaces, okay? So you can take right next to the magnifying glass up in this upper right hand box in your screen, the search screen, there's a little down arrow right next to, little tiny down arrow next to the magnifying glass. And you click on that and it gives you the choice of replace. So you type replace, hit replace, and a pane will come up on the left side of your document, and it's called find and replace. And you see there are caret P is what we're searching for. And we want to replace it simply with a single space, okay? We want to replace it with a single space. And unfortunately, when you type a single space into the replacement box, it won't show up as anything. Just the cursor will move a little bit to the right. Now I'm going to do it. 1, 2, 3, there. Okay, I'll show you again. I'll delete that space and I'll hit the space bar again. And now what you have is find and replace in this pane to the left of the document. There's a double caret P, which means search for double returns. And then I've typed in an empty space. And be careful with your empty spaces. If you type in 2 or 3, you can't really tell the difference. So you might want to delete back to the beginning in that second search box and type just a single space bar. This is going to replace all the double returns, all the empty white spaces with a single space. Okay, so here we go. Let's try and see what happens. Replace all. And you just saved yourself 2,668, erases in this text. Then you say, okay, and you look at what you have now. You've pretty much got the whole text, and now you've got it with a lot of single hard returns that are, it'd be nice to get rid of those, right? So go to that pane to the left, click on the caret P, go to the right side of it with the right arrow and erase one of the caret P's. Again, be very careful that you don't have a capital P because it'll freak out the program. Now, we'd like to replace every single return in this document with a single space. And there's already a single space in the replace box. So don't mess with the second box there, the replace box. Now, you can see here the word matches in the middle of the screen on the left. It says there are 9,143 single returns in this whole document, and we want to replace all of them, okay? We hit replace all. We get the magic color circle because it's a big job. And there you go. Now you've saved yourself about 12,000. You've saved yourself about 12,000 typings on this text. Now there's some more stuff that we'd like to do. Okay, there's some more stuff that we'd like to do. And to save ourselves time. And I'll give you one of them, okay? Now, the end of a paragraph in the Tibetan language is indicated with the letter O, comma, space, comma. You can see it here in the second line, right next to the 001B page number here. To the left of the 001B, in the second line, you see shukso. And the so has a, S-O, comma, space, comma, okay? So we're going to replace that with a paragraph break, which is actually we're putting back in an empty line in the text on purpose. Okay, we're putting back in an empty line in the text on purpose. And the mixed nut standard is that after a final O, when it completes a paragraph, we just have two commas next to each other. We don't have a space between the commas. So we're gonna go to the find and replace pane at the left. We're gonna take out the caret P, and we're gonna replace it with capital O, and don't confuse it with a 0. Capital O, comma, space, comma. And that actually marks all the places in this text where Caleb J, the author, has done he's indicated to us that, about 95% of the time, this is the end of a paragraph. So we can save ourselves a huge amount of work in this large text, 250 pages already. Before we started translating, we can save ourselves a lot of work. Let's replace those paragraph enders, capital O, comma, space, comma, and we're going to replace it with capital O, double comma, which is how we end a paragraph, and then we've got to put in two empty lines, two blank lines, which is done. We had it above, caret P. Now, right now, your computer is in caps lock. If you look down on the keyboard, you'll see caps lock has the green line on it. And you have to be very careful to take it out of caps lock. Okay, you don't want it in caps. If you do that, it freaks out. So take off the caps lock and type caret lowercase p, caret lowercase p. That's gonna hopefully give us a blank space, a blank line after each paragraph ends. It saves you a tremendous amount of time. Okay, so let's replace all. Here we go. By the way, we are saving 1,700 keystrokes. So far we're saving about 6,000 keystrokes. And that's how you can be more productive, okay? Replace all. And there we go. K-J's original paragraphs have been changed to, are now reflected in our text, okay? There's some more cleanup we can do. Let's see. Let's do this. Poetry in Tibetan, and lines of poetry and lines of quoted poetry from other texts are divided by a comma, space, comma, okay? So there's always a shape, a vertical line at the beginning of a line of poetry and at the end of a line of poetry. So why, those lines of poetry, we know they're gonna have to be, divided in our system, in mixed nut system. We show lines of poetry in separate lines. So why don't we go through every case where there's, comma, space, comma, and why don't we replace it with a comma, return, comma, okay? And that will split out all the cases of poetry, okay? Now there's some exceptions. After a ka letter, we're not supposed to use a comma, a shape. And so we won't catch all the lines, but we'll catch like 90% of them, which is still gonna save a tremendous amount of time. So we go to the find and replace panel at the left. We are looking for shay, space, shay, comma, space, comma. And we want to replace all those with a comma and a carriage return, which is caret, lowercase p, and comma, okay, p in comma, yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's split out all the lines of poetry. Save you 700 keystrokes, okay? Let's replace all those. And here we go, replace. Oops. Let's try again. Look for all the commas, spaces, commas, and replace with this. Let's go again. Okay. So now, all the places where there's a comma, space, comma have been changed. And hopefully most of them are poetry, and they happen to be. I can see it right now, okay? Now, let's see if there's anything else we can do to make our life easier. I'm just looking around. There will be some cases where a bung she, that means the final she in a woodblock carving. On one page of woodblock carving, it's a tradition to make the vertical line into a broken vertical line, which our input operators use a semicolon, and we're going to replace all those with a comma. Now that'll save us 429 keystrokes. So far, I don't know what it is, a couple thousand keystrokes we've saved ourselves by pre-working on the text. Okay, so replace all those, and we've just fixed all the semicolon and replace them with she's. Now, there's something else I would do. I'm going to turn off this search panel on the left. And if you look at the text right now, there's still some work we need to do. And by the way, text always I'm sorry, my internet's really sucks in Rimrock, okay? Start with poetry. And you can see here that we've pre-done all the poetry. We don't have to, keep. We saved ourselves thousands of strokes, okay? Now, there's some more work we can do. In the mixed nut standard, we have full justification. We justify the left margin, and the right margin is also supposed to be straight. So let's justify the whole text. We'll hit Command A to block out the entire text. And then we'll go up here to just above the number 3 in the ruler at the top of the white screen. And you'll see the full justification box. You'll see the word justify come on, and click on that. And we've just justified the whole text for ourselves. Okay, we saved ourselves a lot of work. And now we have a text which is fully justified. Okay, if it's me, I keep hitting Command S constantly. Okay, all during my session, I keep saving constantly. Command S with my left hand is just a standard thing that I keep doing all the time, so I don't lose the work that I've been doing. And you should get into that habit. Let's see what else we can do here. There's a little bit of time saving you can do with the page numbers, okay? It's not ideal. You could do more if you knew the coding language, but I can save myself a little time by replacing these page numbers, okay? So when we have a page number in the blocks, we indicate, I'm going to put it at the top left of the screen here, the white screen. We use an ampersand, an @ sign, to indicate a new page. Now, in a translation, we like to call it, if it's a page or a folio, in this case, it's a folio because we have 1B, 1A. It means this input was done from a carving. And by the way, carving, input done from a carving is vastly more desirable. It always has less mistakes than the humans typing in Tibet, okay, so, or wherever. So there's a little bit of time saving you can do here. We like to put the page number or the folio number in square brackets. And so you can save yourself a little bit of time. I'm gonna search and replace again. I make sure I'm at the top of the document. I click near the top of the document and I go to, I hit Command F, which is to search. And I'm gonna search for all of the ampersands that are in this text so far, okay? Now, remember when you want to, when you want to replace something in Word, you have to hit the little down arrow next to the left side of this box. Now you can't see it, that's a bug in Word. But to the left of the ampersand, which is blinking in the search box up in the upper right, there's supposed to be a down arrow. I'm gonna click in that spot and you can see, okay? Then I'm gonna say replace. And over here in the pane to the right of the document, it says find and replace. And it's saying, what do you want to replace the ampersand with? And then in response, I say, give me a left-hand square bracket, give me a small f for folio, and then a space, a period and a space. Okay, so then some of my work for my folio numbers is done. That's gonna save me 400 keystrokes, okay? And then I say replace, replace in the whole document, okay? And, replace all. You have to hit replace all. And there we go. I just saved myself almost 400 keystrokes. And now all of my, all of these page numbers are set up. Now, there's one more thing you can do, okay? And I'm gonna show it to you if I can find one. After the page numbers, let's see here. Okay, here's a page number. Right below my picture of my face, you should see folio 002A. By the way, there's no reason to put the 00 before the 2. We have to take it out later. Let's do it now, in fact. It's just something the type is starting to do. I don't know why. And actually, we can automate it. Well, I'll tell you what. It's too much. It's too much risk that you might do something wrong. Let's leave it. Now, after the page number, there's on the front side, on the A side of a folio, it's a tradition to put some special ornamentations, which is in our input coding is an asterisk, a comma, a space, and a comma, which we already changed to asterisk, comma, hard return, and a comma. We could remove all those, okay? Those are not necessary. We don't keep them, all right? So I'll show you, this is a little trickier, but let's do it together, okay? I'm gonna search for a capital A, followed by a space, followed by a comma, which should. I'm sorry. I'm going to look for a capital A, followed by a space, followed by an asterisk. Okay, and it's near my picture. You can see I've hit this example. And then I'm going to hit the comma. And then I'm going to hit the hard return, which is a caret P. And I'm going to hit the next comma. Okay, I'm going to show you here. It showed up here now in the first line. And this whole thing I'm looking for, I'm going to replace with a smaller case a, which is our standard for the front of the page, and a square bracket to close it, and then a space, okay? And that's going to save me 200 keystrokes. Here we go. Let's replace all of them. Oh, money, baby. Okay. Let's see how it turned out. I hope it turned out okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it was supposed to make a small a, but I didn't have it set the right way. I didn't have the search and replace set on that it should notice caps and lower caps. Let's do that. You go to the find and replace pane. You go to this little wheel under the first search box. You go touch the little down arrow and you say, and you take off ignore case, okay? Which means now it will search for lowercase or uppercase as I request. And I'm going to take now all the uppercase A's with a right bracket, okay? And it jumps to my spot actually. And I want to replace it with a lowercase a in a right bracket. This is going to save me 200 keystrokes, okay? Here we go. Please replace all of those. Now you can see it looks correct, except for the 00, which is I'm going to remove anyway. I'm going to do it manually. It's only 9 of them. Well, let's do it. Let's automate it. Okay, here we go. If you're up for it, okay, go to the find and replace box. Search for left square bracket, F, period, space, 00. Okay, and actually have 16 of them, so 18, so it's going to save me a little bit of work. And I want to replace that with a left square bracket, F, period, space, and that's all. Okay, here we go, replace all those. And there we go. Now, with the B letters, after the page number, you're going to have to do that manually in this simplified system I've done. But we still saved ourselves a few hundred keystrokes. Okay, got it? Now the text is actually ready to work on. If it's me, I will turn off the search pane. I will give a page number to each page in Palatino font. So I will go to insert, up at the very top. I'll go to insert on the upper left, click insert. I will scroll down to page numbers. Okay, here's page numbers. My program is preset to something I don't like, where it says right here. I will change it to center. And that's gonna give me a page number at the bottom center. And I personally don't like to have a number on the first page because that's the page with the pretty picture on it. And I don't like a page number at the bottom. So I'll turn that off. And that's all. I'll hit OK. And then all of my pages now have page numbers at the bottom, okay? Word is preset to a different font for the page numbers. I haven't figured out a way to change it. So I want to make all the numbers at the bottom of the page be Palatino, which is our standard. So I'll double click on the number 2. And you have to keep clicking on it until you get, yeah, maybe you have to click maybe 4 times. And now the page number is has got a gray box around it. That means now I can change the font. I go to home in the upper left, and I go to the font box, which is under the word design. There's a down arrow. And I will go to Palatino Linotype. And that's it. I've changed all the, now I hit an escape to get out of the page numbers. And there we go. And now the text, you see how much work has been done on the text? A huge amount of work, preliminary work. I have to make executive decisions about where to split the paragraphs so that we don't get huge paragraphs that are difficult for people to read. I'll give you a tip as a writer. Readers don't like long paragraphs, okay? They also don't like ridiculously short paragraphs of 1 sentence or something like that. It's distracting. But as short as you can make the paragraphs and not insult somebody's intelligence, it's very useful. And for people doing hypertexting or, translating chunks of text, pronouncing them in class, it's a lot easier for everybody if you can make it as few as possible, okay? As the paragraph should be as short as possible, okay? So that's just a clue. And now it's my job. I've done all the automated stuff I can do. Pretty much. And now it's my job to go through. I used to have a I had written a macro automated program that would alert you to all the possible spelling mistakes. But I guess we're going to have to rebuild that spell checker. And that saves a lot of time too. So that's today. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm going to turn that off the video because it's just about finished, and I can just tell you the rest of it. I'm going to turn it off now, and I'm going to stop that screen sharing, and we're going to go to Adam's text, okay, which is here, okay, and now you can see the action. Sorry. Let me get rid of this one. Okay, now you can see Adam's text, okay? And why did I make a video out of those instructions for how to format a text to save yourself like 3,000 keystrokes?
because we got a bunch of new text coming and people have to get things ready for you.
Yeah, and I don't have to repeat myself, okay?
Right.
You can do the work yourself. Now you have a video. the link is held by Venerable Utpala. Everybody can have a link to it. In fact, if it were me, Utpala, I would download that video and store it someplace in the Mixed Nuts archive, okay?
Yes.
In
will
case
do.
that's a Loom video, Loom video,
Yeah.
which is a Zoom knockoff, but I like the little round faces you can make. So you can save yourself hours and hours of work. And that's, people say I'm productive. Well, partly it's because I automated things, okay? So you can save yourself, I don't know, 20, 30 hours of work. Just do all that stuff before you work on a text and get it all ready as far as you can, okay? And I made I have a theory of computers that, like with spreadsheet stuff, I do profit and loss reports only every 6 months or so. And for the cafe or for my personal finances or for DCI, I don't use the program frequently enough to remember how to use it. So, I can keep going back to that program and relearning it. They also change everything every few months. So when you don't use a program frequently, you should record what you have to do. Like most of you will only get a new text every 2 or 3 years. It's useless to remember all the steps I just described. That's why I did a video, okay? If we just store the video and every time you start a new text, you can save yourself thousands of keystrokes, whether I'm around or not, okay? Yay! Okay.
Thank you,
So
Geshe.
you're welcome. So let me introduce you to Adam's new text, and then Adam will start reading. Still not sure about the title because darkness in the mind, Adam, in modern colloquial American English means evil. He has a dark mind, or that's a dark movie, or, there's a lot of darkness in the White House or something. And it means, it doesn't mean what we want. To clear away the darkness is a little strange. So we gotta, I'm working on it. I'm not satisfied with the title yet. We need a catchy title for Yiki Munsao, which means removing the darkness in the mind about logic, okay? Okay, here's an introduction to the author, Kedub J. His full name is Tamche Kemba Kedub Gelek Pel Sangbo, okay? Kedub is a common compliment to pay to somebody. You are wise and you are also a great practitioner with your meditations. And so Kedub is actually not a personal name. That's not his name. That just means he was great both in books and in personal practice. He combined both, okay? So he was called Kedub J, like master of personal practice and master of books. His real personal name was Gelek Pelsambo, like, I don't know, excellent virtue, glorious, excellent one, okay? His dates are 1385, 1438. He met J Rinpoche in 1406, and the event is in the paintings of the biography of Tsongkhapa, which we published. He was 21, Tsongkhapa was 49. I thought you guys might like to, it's a short story, okay, Adam, I promise. It takes about 5 minutes, and I want to show it to you. Here we go. Okay, here's the actual page from the King of the Dharma book, okay? And this is a translation we did of Tsongkhapa's life, which is the greatest story of his life ever done. That red book is the greatest version of his life ever done. And in 1406, J Rinpoche is how old? 43 plus, he's 49 years old. he goes to a place called Kisha. He's studying at Sarah, okay? He's in retreat at Sarah. And he has a vision of Mahakala with 6 arms, okay? And people say that this particular, from that time, that angel never left his side, protected him his whole life, the rest of his life. And in this, on this retreat, as he's going into retreat, he meets a young man, 21 years old, named Kedubje, okay, who's considered an emanation of a previous master. And a weird thing happens. Tsongkhapa meets this 21-year-old kid, a monk, and he says, "Come into deep retreat with me." Just like that, just sort of a miracle. He sees something in the young man, and he says, "I'm doing a Yamantaka retreat. You come with me, okay?" And that's Kedubje's introduction to Tsongkhapa. They go into a tantric retreat together, okay? And he starts teaching him tantra right away, okay? Like he sees something in this young man special. And then they stayed for the rest of their life, for the rest of Tsongkhapa's life, for the next, almost 20 years, they are together, and Kedubje is studying with him. And here's a picture of the retreat from the Tanka, okay? And I guess Kedubje is usually the person here. And so that kind of tells you how important Kedubje was special enough that Jetsun Kappa decided to take him into a Bhairava, a Yamantaka retreat on the first day he met him, okay? Just pretty amazing, okay? All right, here we go, Adam. Yay! There should be a drum roll. Tema?
Tema dedan gigen yikimunsel shejawa shukso.
Okay, you want to translate this just a word by word?
Yeah, herein contained is dispelling the darkness.
Good.
A jewel ornament of the 7 volumes of correct perception.
Yeah, the 7 books of accurate perception written by?
Master Dharmakirti.
Yeah, all written by Master Dharmakirti. So our general plan for Mixed Nuts in the next 100 years is that Adam's going to work on this text, which is an extraordinary presentation of the topics that he covered in his other text, but very smooth and very deep and kind of more understandable. It's kind of logic for, I don't know, it's extraordinary. It's a wonderful presentation of logic that doesn't feel like logic. Yay. His other text felt like logic. We're gonna, and then Ben Kramer is gonna finish his text soon. And he's gonna move over to a great modern commentary on Dharmakirti's masterpiece, Magnus Opum. Opum Magnus? Anyway, Opus Magnum. His great
Magnum opus.
Opus Magnum.
Magnum opus.
I like the way you say it.
I think it's Opus Magnum. Anyway, his masterpiece, which is the commentary on valid perception, or accurate perception, okay? But Kedubje does a masterful overview of all the great books of Dharmakirti. And that's, so we got 2 guys working on Dharmakirti, but very different books, okay? So now, what would be the first thing you would want to footnote here, Adam?
The 7 books.
Yeah, what's the 7 books, okay? And by the way, I don't think Kedubje mentions them in the book as a list. So we went and made a list. Here's the entry from the Great Dictionary, which gives the 7. And I made it into a list. Okay, so here's the books. Please read the book titles after the numbers, Adam.
Tsema Namjo, the Pramanavartika.
Okay. Next one.
Tsema Namnye,
Good.
which is, yeah.
Some-
Tsema Riktik,
Good.
Tensik Tikpa,
Good. Next.
Jawa Takpa,
Good. Next.
Gyushin Drupa,
Next.
Siparikpa.
Okay.
For debate.
Those are the 7 books that we're going to be studying. Now, the first one is the most famous, and I'm going to translate the titles. Let's translate the titles, Adam. Sema Namdo, a commentary on.
Accurate perception.
Good. Second one, Vinishchaya, it's a difficult word. I would say the
Ascertainment?
ascertaining accurate perception. Okay, well, we'll think of a better title. Tick, do you know?
Yeah, it's a drop of logic.
Good, a drop of reasoning, which means a short book on reasoning, and he stole the title design from his teacher, from his predecessor, Dignaga. And Tipa,
Tensik, drop of, I would say drop of reason again, drop of reasoning
right,
again.
yeah, a drop of reasons or something like that. We'll find better nicknames. Jawa Takpa. This
It's
means
an analysis of reason or relations.
Yeah, an analysis of relationships. Good. Now, this one was connected to a ginseng pizza party we had.
Santanansara City. Yeah, it's
Proof
the proof of other mind streams. Proof of others' mind streams.
Yeah, which is the classic answer to the DCI question.
Am I kissing myself?
Yeah.
Oh,
If everything's coming from me, am I kissing myself when I kiss my boyfriend or girlfriend? Okay. And some friend of mine in Asia asked me if I would teach this book. It's not, I said it would take about 7 hours. And the only time we had was starting around 10 o'clock at night. And I said, if you're willing to do an all-nighter, I'm willing to do an all-nighter. So we did an all-nighter. We worked until 3 a.m. We had a ginseng pizza, which is something amazing. And we didn't quite finish, but it was an amazing time. So Rikpa, Adam?
is that reasoning for debate?
Yeah. Okay, good. So those are the 7 books. Some of them are quite short. Some of them are quite long. Some of them would take 10 years to study. Some of them you can finish in one night with a ginseng pizza, okay? If you're really determined, okay? All right. Those are the 7 books. Now I have a proposal for you, Adam.
Yeah.
If you search the name near the phrase Gyagaketu, which means in Sanskrit, you will get the Sanskrit title as it appears in the Tengyur. And then we can fix the Sanskrit titles, okay? So I want you to go through the other 6. You're gonna search for the title near in the language of India or in the language of Tibet if you want. And we're gonna get the full titles, the full Tengyur titles. These are the titles that Bujin Rinpoche chose for these 7 books. Let's don't put the titles as reported in a dictionary. Let's put the titles as we have researched them and the proper Sanskrit as it was originally written, okay? I think it's gonna be sexy. The mixed nuts method is we don't trust any scholar in the world. We go to the ancient sources. So we're gonna establish the proper titles of the 7 and the Sanskrit titles of the 7 by using the ancient sources, okay? We're not gonna trust somebody's article in a Buddhist magazine or something, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the original sources. So that's your homework on those other 6. Let's go to this line here. We still have 4 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not.
Okay.
Yagar Kedu, Pramana, Shastra, Sinna, Sapta,
Yeah.
Alankara, Manata, Nama.
Nama, good. And this has a lot of errors. By the way, this is called a faux Sanskrit title. Why?
We don't have the Sanskrit?
It was written in
Tibetan.
Tibetan. He's showing off. He's just showing off. He's given his book from 1410 or 15, a Sanskrit title. Okay, just for
Mhm.
fun. And the Tibetans weren't too good at Sanskrit by that time. So unfortunately, I mean, there's a lot of mistakes in the Sanskrit. So I fixed them, okay? Pramana means what?
Valid, correct, accurate.
Good. What's Shastra?
Classical commentary.
Yeah. What's Sena?
7.
Sapta
No,
is
that's
7.
a volume. That's a volume. Yeah.
Sena means
Sapta.
group. And
Like a
we
collection.
said it means, yeah, collection, but it meant, remember, Nick, we had it as an army group, right? So day, like do day, okay? So the collection of 7 classical commentaries on accurate perception. And I'm going to write an Alankara.
A jewel ornament.
Yeah, and whenever they say Alankara, it means I am writing a commentary to some beautiful thing that's gonna, look, the book of Dignaga is already beautiful, but I'm gonna put a necklace on it. Okay. And it's a kind of Kemba Kyung for $20. Kemba Kyung.
Humility.
Arrogance.
Who said it? So,
Well, they did opposites.
Yeah, they're
Humility
kind
and
of
arrogance.
who was first though?
Nick.
Okay, no, yeah, $20 to Amelie's dad. Okay, so look, by the way, giving this book the title of a necklace is meant as an act of humility. Okay, Dignaga's works are beautiful women, and I'm just putting a necklace on a lady who's already incredibly beautiful. Okay, so it's an ancient tradition to call a commentary a necklace. Okay, okay, so call Alankara, and then he has to put the Sanskrit for clearing away the darkness of the mind. Okay, he put a word for mind, mana. Okay, which is manas, and then he put ta. Okay. So he lost the word for clearing away. There's no word here for clearing away. Either someone has miscarved it or it was never written right in the first place. Okay. And I checked out some different options and I like tamogna. Okay. I like killing the darkness. Okay. Destroying the darkness. Okay. Gunning the tamas. Okay, the darkness. Okay, if it were me, I think this ta was meant to be tamogna, and I think someone miscarved it or messed it up. Okay, and if it's me and we don't have any other choices, I'm gonna suggest we use tamogna. Okay, we fixed the Sanskrit title, the faux Sanskrit title to tamogna. Nama is Nama. It's so called. That's okay. We can take that. Okay.
That's
All right.
time again.
Say again.
That's time's up.
You're gonna make me stop here. You don't want to meet Shiva?
I'm not gonna make you do anything.
Just kidding. I know you have to go to a birthday party.
No, I mean as much as you need to do.
I'm kidding. I was thinking of 20 ways to come to your birthday party, but I just couldn't get it together. Okay, stop.
We
here.
are making cookies.
Damn.
Ooh.
9, 26, 20. Okay, so it's an exciting day. Adam's off on a new text. By the way, he's gonna complete his old text, but we felt like it would be nice to take a trip to a psychedelic prose text and then come back to the debate text some other day. So I think it's a perfect long-term strategy to keep doing the debate text, but to intersperse it by publishing some books. This Kidub J's book on logic, I was in the intermonastic debates in Ganden Monastery, and somebody quoted this book, and I was freaked out. Somebody quoted it in the debate ground, and I said, I gotta see this book. And I had a hard time to find a copy, and it's awesome. I think it may be the greatest, the most accessible, most incredible presentation on logic ever. And by the way, Ben Kramer's text on logic is the greatest explanation of the greatest book on logic ever written in ancient times. So we're going to cover the two greatest books on logic ever written between these two eminent scholars, Mr. Andrade and Dr. Kramer. Okay?
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Let's get some sashi. And by the way, Venerable Upala will have the video. I didn't expect you to learn it the first time you heard it, but if you ever start a new text, you can save yourself about 50 hours of work, okay? Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, you showed us before, so thank you for doing that again.
Okay.
Sashi Puki Jukshin Meto Tram Rirabling Ninde Gimpadi Sangye Shindu Mikte Uwagi Jokun Namdak Shingla Chuparsho
Yeah.
Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamni Atayami Gewadi Kewokun Sonam Yeshe Tsok Tsok Shin Sonam Yeshe Le Jungwe Dampa Kunyi Topar Sho.
Yay. Adam, don't forget your homework for the other 6 titles, okay?
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Grandpa Mike's going to
Thank you.
Mexican restaurant takeout.
Yay. There's
Yay.
also a document that has those steps in the Dropbox from back in the day if anybody wants to practice chopping texts.
Okay.
Coming up, we have Q&A with Dr. Sugang Shi.
Wow.
Woo.
Hope everybody can come and ask Sugang really tough questions because he loves that.
Let's kill him.
Happy 10th day, Geshe-la, and everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Bertha, I got your message and I'm taking care of it, okay? Bertha Velasco. Okay. I'll send you some information. All right. If Anton's on the text, I'm going to call you soon, no doubt. Tonight. All right.